I have two obsessions at the moment, Paralives and the World Cup, and in a way both of them resulted in this video. The Paralives obsession has affected the way in which I am moving the camera. I tried not to do it too badly, but it did make editing more complicated. But I thought that it would be really cool to make a house in Ciudad Enamorada and to actually have it for a football coach and I'm thinking maybe one of them is an athlete, the other one is a coach, and they have children who play football or who they hope will play football because one of them is a toddler. I am very sad that Mexico was eliminated, so this is my way of coping with that apparently. I thought that this year I wouldn't care about it. I always watch it, but for some reason this year has been different. Maybe it is because we are hosting, or I just kind of needed to be emotionally invested in something that isn't all that important. So yeah, here we are, and I really liked the way that the interior ended up looking. I am very happy with the kitchen, and I used a lot of love strokes, so I think that I was able to make a great interior inspired by Mexican houses. I was basing the look of this build on a house that I saw for sale, like on the internet. It was a house in Guanajuato, which is a very beautiful town. It has lots of old houses. They are all very vibrant. The house that I was looking at was actually this very bright blue, but I thought that it would be a lot cooler to use this more textured wallpaper, and it just gives the house some character, which I really liked. And that house actually did have a water tower, so I made sure to add one, and I duplicated the door so that it would be even wider, and I ended up adding a garage, which is something that I almost never add to my houses. This is actually a 3-bedroom house. It has 2 bathrooms, both of them are upstairs. I really wanted to have a decent sized living room so that they could all come together and watch the game. Actually, this ended up being a much bigger house than I was expecting, even if I think I shrunk it twice. I suppose that Paralives has completely altered my understanding of spaces, so since you have to make things sometimes bigger in Paralives for them to actually be functional, I am completely lost with the scale of things, and I have gotten so used to the camera that the Sims 4 camera is... I actually use the Sims 3 camera, but yeah, I've forgotten how to use it. Anyway, this is the kitchen. I really love the way that this one came out. I am using this wallpaper from Jungle Adventure. It has several versions, and this one is a bit worn and it looks kind of older, and I just really liked all of that texture, and I really wanted this house to look like it has been around for a while. Maybe they have inherited this house, or it's just an old house where they live. I really wanted to build in this section of the town for that reason. And I actually got a shell from Lovestruck so that they would have a neighbor, because this world has really big lots, and I really didn't want this house to be too big. I wanted to have a decent patio so that they could practice football. I did get some footballs outside. I don't know what people who call it soccer call those soccer balls. I have no idea. I'm just going to call them footballs because that's what I call them. I also tried to use less packs than I normally would. Maybe it is because I recently made a base game renovation, only using the base game and the packs that are free right now on the marketplace. So I kind of felt like limiting packs, but I didn't actually limit any packs. I used a lot of them, and some of them I only used for like 1 or 2 items. So for rent, 2 items, and Snow Escape, I used a window so that I added some double doors so that Sims can exit to the balcony above the garage doors. And since I made them mirrors of each other, one of those doors has the metal in front of the glass and the other one has it behind the glass, and I was going just insane because I couldn't manage to have them both be in front of the glass, but I ultimately decided I didn't care. But I did use a Snow Escape windows instead of using 2 windows from Lovestruck. Your Sims would still go outside. Windows don't really block them if you have a door. But yeah, anyway, this is the basic living room. I think I will come back to this, and I actually did forget that Lovestruck actually has a table, a board game, and I did add that one to the coffee table. I also, at the very end, added some gaming consoles to it, and there is also a door that leads into that garage, and a very small entryway. I almost think I got a mirror into this entryway. I did get a mirror for the entryway upstairs. It's funny that I forgot that because I am normally very consistent with adding mirrors to entryways. But yeah, sometimes I feel like I have forgotten how to play The Sims, and I am sorry about that. As I said, I am absolutely obsessed with Paralives. I will continue to play The Sims. I still really enjoy it, and there's many things that I cannot do in Paralives that I can do in The Sims. But yeah, it's been a learning curve, and this is actually that shell that I was mentioning. I also got some debug fences so that they could actually match the surroundings. That's one thing that I really don't like about this lot. There is a fence right at the end of it, and you cannot actually build a fence to coincide with that fence, or you can't eliminate it either. You're just stuck with a fence, so sometimes it is very silly to try to fence in patios, and it feels so limiting. So what I did was that I got a debug fence, and then I got this gate. So that gate should still be functional. I think that these fences actually do have a footprint, so they would actually block Sims from accessing the patio from all directions. So they would actually have to use the gate. I mean, it should work the way that any normal fence would. I also wanted to add laundry into the house, so I added it into the garage, and I actually got the clothesline in the garden. I changed the layout in this build so many times. I originally had another room in here. I had no idea what I was going to do with it, and also the stairs are at a very silly location at the moment. So I just cropped most of the layout because I ended up changing it anyway, and I also changed the stairs off camera because also I was recording, and then I paused so that I could take a break, and so I saved and I ended that recording and everything, and then like 5 minutes later we had a power outage, so my computer turned off, and it was kind of, just stressful, but I didn't lose any progress, and I didn't get the video corrupted, which was great news, and really thankful for that. I had only just when I came back, I only just redid the stairs, and I don't think I showed that at all. I didn't really say anything about the dining room. It has a bit of a split level so that it would be possible to access that patio from there. And I have like a separate section with a bar and a bar back. It's just a nice family room. I really wanted this house to be somewhere that you could have parties at, like any reunions or any holidays. I thought would be really cool to actually host in this house. There's so many things about hosting. I suppose that in Canada and in the US it is the same with the World Cup, but I have seen so many ads about being hosts. So I suppose that is on my mind at the moment. It's terrible, really. I don't recognize myself. I normally don't think about football all the time. But yeah, this is me now, apparently. I also got a few pictures so that we could have some more decorations. I got a small, it's not really a gallery wall, it's just a trio of portraits and like a landscape painting. I got that one because it fit where the stairs are, and they are all like Ciudad Enamorada locations, and that sim has the same like hair and dress from that pack, so I thought it would be fitting. And I also got one of the paintings that is currently free on the marketplace. I used a couple of items from those packs in here. And I also thought that it would be cool to get these, I think they are like some sort of banner from Seasons. I know that they are like Christmas decorations, but it is green and red, and that was very close to Mexico's colors. So I decided to add those because I was thinking that they are probably also watching the World Cup right now in this house. I just thought it would be funny. At the moment, there is a flag in the dining room in my house. We just got it out some September because that's when we have our most important national holiday. And we just never put it away. So I just realized that if somebody were to come into my house and see that flag, it would think that it was there because of the World Cup. So I just think that it is funny that somehow I am like really patriotic all year long. But yeah, now we are upstairs. I have added a desk and a computer. I think that the second entryway is probably more comfortable, except because of the stairs and because it is not connected to the garage, but it has some more storage and a mirror. I also got the alarm because that's something that is very important for your Sims safety. And then I started to decorate the child's room, which at first I had forgotten that this was for a child, because I was thinking that this sim could probably study something related to sports at university, and there were some items from Discover University that have football, and so I was just thinking about like a teenager and a young adult, but then I remembered that I wanted a child because the other child is a toddler, so yeah, I ended up changing that bed for a single bed, and I also got like a big teddy bear and a toy box. I am using a lot of items from the base game, actually. I think that it was because I did that renovation and suddenly some of the base game items were looking a lot more interesting than they normally do to me. Oh, and then I remembered that, interestingly enough, Parenthood has like a football rug and also some posters. So I made sure to add those in here. Also, there's the football lamp that I got into that other room. And that signed poster that is actually from like a football game, like video game from City Living. So I thought that it was a cool thing to have. I got the team photo. I also have that one downstairs, but I thought that maybe this could be like from a different year or something like that. Since I was thinking that one of the parents was the coach of that team. And then this is the second bedroom. It is a little bit smaller, which I normally don't like to do in The Sims, but this house was just like such a complicated. The layout was harder for me for some reason right now, so I ended up having a much smaller bedroom, but at least it is closer to the bathroom, which I suppose is an advantage. I have a lot of like green and pink in this room. I actually have a lot of green in this house, like in general, partly because Mexico is green and red, but also I have been enjoying green a lot lately, so I seem to be wanting to use it everywhere. And also it goes so well with pink. I didn't record it, but I made like an actual townhouse in Paralives that is all completely like green, pink, and some orange. So it's either green and orange or green and pink, and that is like the whole house. I do actually have that on the workshop. So I did share that, but I just didn't record it because I abandoned that build. I almost never do that, but I just wasn't feeling it. And then I showed it to my mom and she told me how to fix it, which was great. But yeah, I didn't record that or anything, but apparently that's how I have been building lately, like just making mistakes sometimes. Like the exterior of this house, I think looks a little bit weird. When I was building it and painting it and everything, I thought that it looked fine. But then at the end of the build, I looked at it and I was like, why is it so weird? But I just wasn't going to go back and fix it because it was going to be like such a headache. I also got these pillows. They are also free on the marketplace. They have some nice swatches. They have lots of green, which was useful for me in this build. I got some for both the children's bedrooms and also I got one for the chair that is in the hallway. And then I started working on the parents' bedroom. While I was looking for stuff to actually have on the wall, I found a painting that has like some more fruit. And I thought that it was similar to this one from Lovestruck that I was actually looking for, in that swatch that has like the avocados and stuff. And so I decided to add that to the kitchen, and then I returned to the bedroom so that I could add the swatch that I was looking for, which is the one with the birds. And I thought that matched the colors from the bed and the rug pretty well. That rug is from Strangerville, and I always want to use it when I am doing Mexican builds. So of course, I had to use it again, and I used it twice. I also have it in the living room. This bedroom is kind of large. I really liked it. I like the colors. I like that it has a chair and how it is kind of an open sort of space. I used a lot of horse ranching here, like that wardrobe, and just like in general, a lot of the furniture is from there. So this is kind of a slightly rustic place. Also, the sinks that I am using are from Jungle Adventure, and some other furniture from that pack is also kind of rustic. I really like that. Actually, I don't usually go for that style, but I thought that it just really worked in here, and I thought that it would be interesting in the bathroom to have like a little shelf in here, since the door wasn't completely like on the corner, so I had space for that. I also wanted to have like a fancy walk-in shower. There's also this like side table from Jungle Adventure that has some bars of soap, I think, and I always want to add that to bathrooms. So of course I got it for this bathroom, and I thought that this was too big for it to just be a shower, so I also added a bathtub. That one is from Seasons. I used, I suppose, mostly Seasons, Jungle Adventure, Love Struck, some Get Together, lots of High School Years and Parenthood, and I think I have already mentioned Love Struck, and Laundry Day and Horse Ranch. So I suppose that if you have most of those packs, you should be able to get like a very similar version of this house. I also wanted to add this window that is open into the bathrooms, and I also got one of these for the garage because it looks like it would be great for like ventilation in these places where it might be sort of like humid. And there is actually a swatch that has frosted glass, and I really like it, but the frame of it is white or black, I think, so it didn't really go with what I was going for, which I think it was a shame, but I just added some like curtains or blinds so that I could give my Sims that privacy. And then for the patio, I really wanted to have a picnic table and a grill. I was going to use the big grill, like the double one from the base game, but I ended up using this other one, also from the base game, because it just fit this style so well. I mean, it was like from the Latin American update, which is, I have heard it is basically just the Mexican update, and I must agree that most of the items do actually feel Mexican. So, I mean, I enjoy it, but I think that it was weird to call it Latin American if it was more specific than that. Also, I also wanted to have that like toddler slide. It was actually free, like it was an event reward some months ago, and I really wanted to have a swing set, so I got the one from Seasons, and also from Seasons I got that small inflatable pool, since I was thinking that it is probably really hot in this world. It also rains a lot because it is inspired by Mexico City, and it does rain a lot over there. So, I mean, it is cloudy a lot of the time, and sometimes I don't like that for screenshots, but it is also realistic, so I can't really complain too much. Oh, and also that shell, I didn't actually keep it in the version that I uploaded to the gallery because it is where the front of the lot is supposed to be. So it isn't this long side, it is that shorter one. And so I just ended up getting rid of it, which I am very sorry about. I didn't want to do that, but it really looked awful in the gallery. So if you want to get it again, you just have to get debug open, bv.show live edit objects, and then filter by Lovestruck. There are a couple of shells that are that size, and yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to replace it, but I am actually sorry about that. Then I just got some landscaping, and I also remembered that I always like to add alarm clocks to my Sims bedside tables, so I went back and added those, and I also thought that I would filter through unlocked items, and I actually found some posters that are like exercise posters, but to me it looked like people playing football, so I decided to add them anyway. And there was also this sort of like banner from Discover University that had another football, so I just sized it down, and I also added it to that bedroom because it felt like there was a weird blank space. I also got the banners from from one of the universities. I think that this child probably wants to play for that team, and maybe one of the parents is the coach of the team. So I was thinking that that's why there were Foxbury banners. Mexico actually does have like a university professional football team, so that made sense to me. But yeah, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If there is anything else that you would like to see me build, whether it be in this world or a renovation or anything else, I would really love to hear your suggestions in the comments. And also please let me know if you have also been interested in the World Cup and what team are you cheering for, because since my country was eliminated and most of the teams that I was rooting for have also been eliminated, I don't really know what to do anymore, but I am still watching matches pretty much every day. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye everyone!